The beginning is not an explosion, not yet. It is a hush so deep that it almost feels eternal, a silence stretched across nothing. There is no sound, no light, no pulse of time, only a potential resting like a breath held before the first word is spoken. You find yourself there, suspended within a stillness so complete that even thought feels too loud to exist. In that quiet, order reigns, perfect, flawless, undisturbed. Every particle, every speck of energy rests where it must, in balance. Imagine a smooth lake before dawn, so still that it mirrors the sky without distortion. That is what the early universe feels like in its timeless calm. It is symmetry without story, beauty without contrast. There are no ripples, no change, no before or after, and yet something waits, because perfection cannot move. It cannot breathe. The first truth of existence is not light or heat, it is imbalance. The tiniest tremor, the faintest unevenness, is what allows the universe to begin. You can almost hear it, a sigh, softer than silence, spreading through the void. A single disturbance, a shiver of asymmetry, and in that moment, the calm begins to unravel, not in destruction, but in awakening. You feel the first breath of time. At first, it is gentle, a drifting rhythm, the soft expansion of possibility. Space stretches, energy begins to flow, and what was once perfectly even now holds difference. That difference, that slight departure from symmetry, becomes the seed of all motion, all structure, all life to come. It is as if the universe opens its eyes for the first time. You float in this newborn expanse. Around you, temperature variations shimmer like the faintest patterns of dust. The cosmos is expanding, cooling, spreading itself thin. Hydrogen forms the simplest atom, a whisper of existence, followed by helium, faint echoes of the universe's first words. They are the letters that will someday form stars, galaxies, and minds capable of wonder. But for now, it is quiet again, quiet in a different way. This is not the stillness of perfection, but of waiting, of preparation. You sense the tension between what was once static and what is now possible. Entropy, though invisible, has begun its slow song. It hums in every particle, guiding energy from order toward a broader, freer distribution. To understand entropy, you must feel it. It is not chaos, not the fall of things apart, but the widening of what can be. Where there was once only one way for the universe to exist, there are now countless. Each tiny fluctuation, each variation, is a new arrangement of reality, a new possibility for form and story. Picture a drop of ink in still water. The ink does not vanish. It spreads, blending softly until it fills the glass with an even hue. That spreading, that natural urge toward uniformity, is entropy's essence. The universe moves in this way, not by choice, but by law. Energy seeks to share itself, to smooth out the sharpness of difference. And so, what begins as a perfect singularity unfolds into stars, into dust, into you. You are made of that unfolding. The atoms in your body were once part of that first stillness. They traveled through stars, burned in their cores, and scattered through space before coming together in the small constellation of your being. Your every breath continues the same law, air dispersing, heat flowing outward, order dissolving into equilibrium. You inhale, order enters. You exhale, entropy flows out. In that simple rhythm, you echo the entire universe. When you close your eyes and listen to your heartbeat, you can feel time moving within you. It moves not like a clock, but like a tide. Each beat, each thought, is the result of countless microscopic imbalances resolving themselves. Your body, warm and alive, is a dance against the flow of entropy, a local pocket of order, maintained by the continuous release of energy into the world around you. Life exists not despite entropy, but because of it. Without the tendency for energy to spread, no process could ever drive forward. Still, in this chapter of beginnings, the universe is young and pure. The first stars have not yet formed. The light that will one day fill the cosmos is trapped, bouncing endlessly in a fog of particles too dense to let it through. It is a warm twilight that lasts for hundreds of thousands of years, a cosmic womb, and within it, entropy continues its patient work, weaving time's arrow into the fabric of reality. In every direction, space stretches. The tiny ripples that began as fluctuations now swell into the structures that will become galaxies. It is strange to think that the same rule that governs your cooling cup of tea also shapes the stars. But that is entropy's quiet beauty. It does not discriminate between the small and the vast, whether in your breath or in the birth of a solar system. The same whisper guides all motion. Entropy measures possibilities, not destruction, but diversity. It tells you how many ways the universe can arrange itself without losing its essence. As energy spreads, as differences smooth out, the number of possibilities increases. The universe, in a sense, becomes freer, less confined. You can feel this freedom in yourself. When your thoughts drift, when you let go of control, your mind too follows entropy's path, from focus into openness. Ideas blend, dissolve, reform. Even your emotions follow gradients, seeking balance between joy and sorrow, tension and peace. You are not separate from the universe's flow. You are one of its quiet continuations. Now imagine this still young universe from afar, a soft haze, expanding endlessly, temperature evening out, density thinning. If you could see it, it would not be dramatic. It would look serene, gentle, like fog lifting from a sleeping valley. It is not an explosion, but an exhalation. Energy moves outward, not to destroy, but to explore space that did not exist a moment before. And with this spreading, time begins to mean something. For the first time, before and after exist. Before, everything was the same. After, difference exists, and with it, direction. This direction, this flow from the more ordered to the more possible, is what we call the arrow of time. Entropy is that arrow's whisper. You watch as light finally escapes its fog. The universe becomes transparent. Photons, the messengers of the cosmos, travel freely for the first time, carrying with them the memory of that ancient stillness. Their faint glow remains today as the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of creation itself. It is a message from the beginning, still humming around you, passing through your body in every second. When you look up at the night sky, you see the remnants of that first breath. Each star, each glimmer, is a punctuation in the long sentence of entropy's story. The universe is not decaying. It is unfolding, balancing, learning how to rest in greater and greater equilibrium. But as you drift through this understanding, a gentle curiosity lingers. If entropy always grows, if the universe always moves toward evenness, then why is there so much beauty still? Why do patterns form? Why do galaxies swirl? Why does life ignite with such persistence against the tide of time? You begin to sense that order and disorder are not enemies. They are partners in an endless exchange, a conversation across time. Order gives structure to energy. Entropy gives it meaning. Together, they compose the music of existence. You close your eyes again. The silence feels familiar now, not frightening. It is the same stillness that began everything, not a void, but a balance waiting to breathe. The atoms within you hum with ancient memory. You are part of that first moment's exhale, part of the whisper that set time in motion. In the gentle dark of your thoughts, the universe continues to expand. The breath of order fades into the rhythm of change. You feel the pull of what comes next, the quiet unraveling, the graceful surrender of form to flow. And somewhere in that widening space between what was and what will be, entropy takes its next slow breath. You float in the newborn universe, surrounded by soft light, the afterglow of creation stretching into the infinite. It is no longer silent. There is a hum now, deep and resonant, a vibration that fills the expanding fabric of space. This hum is not noise, but movement, a gentle stirring, a universal exhale. You can feel it against the quiet of your mind, like the faint rhythm of waves on an endless shore. The stillness that once defined everything has begun to loosen, not suddenly, not violently, but tenderly, like ice melting beneath a spring sun. Atoms, once close and warm, drift apart as the universe stretches. Distances bloom between them, vast and growing. What was once compact and bright now becomes open and wide, a field of endless potential. This is entropy's first unfolding, not a collapse, but an expansion. The cosmos is learning to let go. Everywhere you look, energy moves gently outward, smoothing and spreading. Where there was once concentration, there is now distribution. It is as if the universe is sighing into comfort, relaxing its grip on perfection. You feel that same ease within yourself, the slow unwinding of tension, the soft awareness that nothing needs to stay tightly wound forever. Change, you realize, is not the opposite of peace. It is peace in motion. You watch as the earliest atoms drift through this glowing sea. Hydrogen, helium, simple, light, serene. They float through the expanding fabric of space like seeds in a cosmic breeze. The temperature falls, the light softens. Each photon travels farther before meeting another particle, until the universe becomes vast enough to cradle its own quiet. And in that quiet, patterns begin to appear. Tiny ripples, faint variations in density, draw invisible outlines across the universe. They are small, but time is patient. Gravity, soft-spoken yet persistent, begins its long work. It gathers matter, grain by grain, into the first clouds. You could imagine it as a dance. Each particle sways toward another, drawn not by force alone, but by the quiet wish to belong. The clouds swirl and fold inward, a slow pirouette of matter beneath the pull of gravity. In these tender spirals, the first stars will one day be born, but not yet. For now, the universe only practices the art of gathering. Entropy continues its whisper: spread, connect, transform, At first, you might think that spreading means losing, that the diffusion of energy, this gentle unraveling, is a kind of fading. But if you look closer, you see that it's an act of creation. When energy spreads, new relationships emerge. When matter diffuses, new forms become possible. Just as a drop of ink in water creates beauty through its soft blending, so too does the universe paint its first patterns through diffusion. Nothing is wasted. Nothing vanishes. It only moves, changes form, finds new balance. You begin to sense entropy, not as a force of decay, but as a rhythm of balance. Each molecule seeks freedom. Each atom follows its quiet impulse to move from where it is crowded toward where it is open. This movement, this drift, is what allows complexity to arise. Imagine your breath again. The air you exhale warms the room, your body releasing its stored energy into the atmosphere. That warmth doesn't disappear. It simply disperses, shared among countless particles of air. What was once uniquely yours becomes part of the greater whole. That is entropy's poetry. Everything moves toward belonging, the universe to exhales. Its light cools, its matter stretches thin. The once blinding glow softens into a dusky shimmer. The first shadows appear not as darkness, but as depth, as texture. Where there is variation, there is story. Entropy allows difference to exist. Without it, everything would remain the same, a static perfection, without time or change. But with it, there is transformation, hot and cold, dense and empty, near and far. It is in these contrasts that meaning is born. You might think of it like the strings of a harp. If every string were tuned to the same note, no music could be made. Entropy loosens some strings, tightens others, creating the intervals that allow melody to exist. The universe hums its first tune, and though it sounds like chaos, it is harmony in disguise. You drift closer to one of those primordial clouds, immense, delicate, glowing faintly against the cosmic background. Inside, gravity and entropy are in conversation. Gravity pulls inward, gathering. Entropy pulls outward, spreading. Neither wins. Instead, they balance one another. It is in this tension, this dialogue between order and release, that creation finds its pace. Atoms collide, dance, and cling. In time, these collisions ignite heat, and the first stars begin to shimmer within the womb of darkness. Their light pierces the quiet like distant candles flickering across an ocean. Entropy fuels this, too. For as energy moves outward, new reactions begin, new balances emerge. Disorder becomes the very condition for brilliance. And somewhere, in the calm expanse of thought, you understand. Nothing beautiful lasts by resisting change, it lasts by flowing with it. Entropy is the story of letting go, of structure learning how to dissolve, of energy realizing that freedom, not confinement, is its natural state. Look around your own life. The same principle hums through every moment. Your muscles relax after tension. Your emotions shift from intensity to calm. Memories blur at their edges, softening into the background of your mind. Entropy is not loss. It is the gentle mercy of time. It teaches everything, from stars to thoughts, how to release what can no longer be held. When you feel something fade, the warmth of a day, the clarity of a feeling, remember, it does not end. It disperses, becoming part of a greater field of experience. Just as light never dies but continues endlessly outward, so too do your moments ripple across the universe. Carried in the flow of time, you are not apart from this process. You are an expression of it, a temporary pattern in the vast unfolding of energy. Your heart beats by transforming chemical order into motion. Your cells live through controlled imbalance, constantly exchanging, releasing, redistributing. Even your rest tonight, your slow breathing, your surrender to sleep is a small echo of entropy's larger rhythm. Release, restore, renew. The universe, still expanding, grows more intricate. The first stars burn and scatter elements through supernova, iron, carbon, oxygen, the seeds of life. With each explosion, entropy increases, yet so does possibility. From every act of dispersion comes new potential for structure. From every release of energy, a new chance for creation. You realize that disorder is not the enemy of form, it is the mother of it. Without entropy, there could be no stars, no planets, no life. Only a frozen, static perfection, endless, lifeless, silent. Instead, the universe chose motion. It chose warmth, expansion, and the artistry of change. Entropy is the universe learning how to breathe in, out, again and again. Every collapse, every cooling, every scattering is just part of that same infinite cycle. It is not an end. It is continuity, written in the language of transformation. You drift through this great unraveling like a leaf on a cosmic wind. Space stretches around you, endless and serene. Each point of light in the distance tells a story of balance, found and lost again. You sense the inevitability of it all, yet within that inevitability, a tenderness. The universe does not hurry. It unfolds at the pace of its own contentment. Every second, every billion years, is equally precious in its quiet choreography. What was once dense becomes open. What was once still begins to move. Entropy guides it all with invisible patience, ensuring that nothing ever stays the same, yet everything remains part of the same whole. You think of your own body again, warm, temporary, alive. Within you, trillions of tiny processes unfold each second. Each reaction follows entropy's direction. Energy flows outward, molecules spread, heat dissipates, and yet, in this continuous release, life emerges. You are not defying entropy. You are sculpted by it, a delicate balance of order maintained through constant exchange. Even your sleep will follow this law. As you rest, your mind unravels the tight patterns of the day. Thoughts diffuse, emotions settle, order dissolves into soft possibility. Entropy soothes your consciousness into equilibrium. You drift toward rest not through control, but through surrender. And in that surrender, you mirror the universe itself, expanding, cooling, finding balance in release. As you move farther from the first breath of order, you begin to see what entropy truly is, not destruction, but transformation. Not the end of things, but the widening of what can be. Every molecule, every heartbeat, every drifting star is part of its story, a gentle movement from precision toward openness. You close your eyes and feel the rhythm of it, inside and around you. The cosmos sighs. You sigh with it. Energy spreads, possibilities multiply, and the night grows deep. Nothing is lost. everything changes. And in the quiet between breaths, you feel the universe preparing to show you something deeper, the hidden patterns that still remain, the secret symmetries that persist even as all things gently unravel. The unraveling has begun, but the universe does not collapse into chaos. It only shifts softly, naturally, into new patterns. You drift through the widening cosmos, where stars have kindled and dust now glows with their warmth. Light spreads in graceful arcs, filling the vast silence with its shimmering pulse. Everywhere you look, movement weaves invisible order through apparent randomness. It is easy to think of change as loss, to see disorder as the absence of meaning. But if you linger, if you slow your gaze, you notice something subtler. Even in dissolution, there is design. Even in decay, there is rhythm. Entropy does not erase structure, it transforms it. It takes one pattern and reshapes it into another. You see this in the curling smoke that rises from a flame, chaotic at first glance. Yet each twist and eddy follows the elegant laws of fluid motion. You see it in a coastline's jagged curve, in the way clouds bloom across the evening sky, in the pulsing of your own heart, never perfectly regular, but harmoniously imperfect. This is the hidden symmetry of change, the quiet reminder that the universe, even as it flows toward disorder, never loses its poetry. You move closer to a cluster of young stars, brilliant and restless in the darkness. Around them, clouds of gas twists and shimmer, illuminated dust sculpted by radiation and gravity. From afar, it looks like a painting brushed across the void. But every line, every swirl, is an outcome of physics, precise and inevitable. The heat from the stars pushes gas outward. The gravity of the same stars pulls it inward. The balance between expansion and contraction creates waves, ripples of density that dance through the nebula, birthing new forms within the cloud. It is chaos that breeds creation. You can feel this balance echoing inside you. Every breath you take is another expression of this harmony between opposites. You inhale, order enters, oxygen binds, energy concentrates. You exhale, entropy flows outward. Carbon dissolves into the air, energy disperses. Each cycle is an act of balance between holding and releasing your body. 2 is a galaxy of processes, cells consuming, transforming, exchanging. Each second, countless reactions occur, each one following the law of entropy. Energy never vanishes. It only changes shape. In you, the universe has found a way to observe its own transformations, to feel the rhythm of its own unfolding. You drift through the light of those stars, and slowly you begin to understand entropy and symmetry are not enemies. They are threads of the same tapestry. Energy spreads outward, yes, but in doing so, it creates patterns of astonishing complexity. From random motion emerges statistical order, the predictable behavior of countless particles acting together. In their freedom, they find a kind of unity. Imagine a field of wildflowers swaying in a breeze. Each stem moves unpredictably, yet together they create a single wave across the meadow. That is how the universe behaves, each atom wandering, yet collectively expressing a hidden order. This is the symmetry of change, individual randomness giving rise to universal pattern. It is through entropy that stars shine. Their hearts are furnaces, where energy trapped within flows outward through layers of gas and light. It is through entropy that rivers flow, carrying potential energy down toward the sea. It is through entropy that you feel warmth, hear sound, and exist in a world that evolves rather than freezes. Every pulse of transformation is the same story written in different languages. You close your eyes and listen, not with your ears, but with your sense of being. You can almost hear the steady conversation between order and freedom, between structure and release. It sounds like the hum of background radiation, the faint echo of the universe's earliest light. That sound, that low, ancient whisper, is the memory of the cosmos balancing itself. The laws of physics are not tyrants. They are guides. They shape how energy moves, how matter behaves, how equilibrium is reached. Even as entropy increases, total energy remains constant. Nothing is ever lost, only transformed, redistributed, rearranged. You remember the first law of thermodynamics: energy cannot be created or destroyed. You remember the second: entropy always increases. Together, they form a paradox of beauty, permanence, and change, coexisting in perfect tension. The universe keeps its essence, yet never repeats itself. You drift deeper, to where galaxies cluster in filaments that span unimaginable distances. They connect like threads in a cosmic web, vast bridges of dark matter linking luminous islands across space. From afar, it looks random. Up close, it reveals pattern, the geometry of the universe itself. Gravity pulls matter into these filaments. Entropy pulls energy outward. Together, they shape the great architecture of existence, balance born from opposite inclinations. Every star, every orbit, every faint ripple of light is a step in that cosmic dance. And in the smallest corners of that vast design, within the quantum whisper of atoms, you find the same pattern repeating, the same balance, the same symmetry. Energy oscillating between states, particles appearing and vanishing, probabilities weaving a tapestry of motion. What appears uncertain on the smallest scale gives rise to certainty on the grandest one. This, too, is the hidden symmetry of change, chaos nurturing stability. The mind often craves permanence. You may long for stillness, for something unchanging to rest upon. But nature teaches a gentler truth, that stability arises not from immobility, but from balance within motion. A tree bends in the wind yet stands tall because of its flexibility. Your heart adapts its rhythm with every emotion, yet continues beating through every variation. Order is not the absence of change. It is the graceful management of it. When you let go of rigidity, of trying to hold still, you begin to move in rhythm with the universe's quiet current. You become like a leaf carried by water, not resisting its flow, yet never losing your form. This surrender is not defeat. It is harmony. Entropy teaches that the universe finds beauty in evolution, not preservation. Stars burn out, but their ashes form new worlds. Your thoughts fade, but they make room for others. Every end is an introduction disguised as silence. Look around you, or imagine you could. From the smallest dust mote to the most distant galaxy, symmetry shimmers beneath the surface of randomness. Snowflakes, with their branching elegance, form through chaotic motion of water molecules. The pattern is not forced. It emerges naturally from the conditions of temperature and humidity. Fractals, Tree branches, lightning bolts, river deltas, all arise from simple rules, repeated through space and time. What you call chaos is often just complexity you do not yet understand. Entropy is the weaver of that complexity. It ensures that nothing stagnates, that energy continues to flow into new patterns. The dance of disorder is not aimless, it is purposeful in its quiet persistence. You can sense it even now in your breathing, in your slowing pulse, in the way thoughts drift and reform like constellations across your inner sky. There is structure in your surrender. The rhythm of rest is as much a pattern as the rhythm of motion. You imagine a future moment, the stars burning their last hydrogen, the galaxies thinning as expansion accelerates. Even then, when all seems to fade, symmetry will remain. Energy, though diffuse, will still hum faintly through the fabric of space-time. Each photon will still travel straight and true, obeying the same laws that guided the first. Even in maximum entropy, there is order, the order of constancy, of law, of the cosmic heartbeat that never truly stops. The universe will not end in chaos. It will end in calm, a final equilibrium where everything has spread so evenly that no gradients remain. Perfect stillness once again, but this time not the fragile order of the beginning. This stillness will be mature, earned through the long unfolding of transformation. You realize, with a soft comfort, that everything moves toward peace. Entropy is not destruction, it is the journey home to balance. In this moment of awareness, you see reflections of this law in your own being. When you let go of resistance, when you stop holding every thought too tightly, your mind finds its natural equilibrium. You rest not because you stop thinking, but because your thoughts flow freely, like energy dispersing into stillness. The same physics that governs galaxies governs the way you fall asleep. Entropy and rest are kin. Both dissolve tension. Both allow expansion. Both invite you to become one with the flow of time. So you breathe slowly, deeply. You let the symmetry of change cradle you. The rhythm of your heartbeat becomes the pulse of the stars, the hum of energy redistributing itself gently through your cells. Nothing is lost. Everything transforms. The universe, through you, is remembering its balance. Light fades as you drift further through the cosmic web. The structures you once saw as solid now blur, soften, dissolve into faint streaks of radiance. Yet within the fading new shapes emerge, subtler, deeper, almost invisible. You begin to sense a new kind of pattern, information itself, the hidden record of entropy's unfolding. Each atom, each photon carries a trace of its journey, a whisper of what it once was and what it became. Even as form vanishes, the story remains, written in the fabric of energy itself. You feel this truth ripple through you like a lullaby. Everything that ever existed still leaves a mark, a trace of its passage. The universe remembers through its transformations, not in detail, not in image, but in balance, in distribution, in the quiet arithmetic of change. You smile in the dark of your thoughts, realizing that nothing truly disappears. It only hides in new symmetry, waiting to be rediscovered. The stars dim, their light softened by distance. You float in the space between them, weightless, calm. Entropy hums around you like a heartbeat, too vast to measure. You feel the beauty of impermanence, the serenity of motion, the secret order that threads through every act of change. Even as the universe spreads, it holds together. Even as energy diffuses, it creates. Even as time flows forward, symmetry remains subtle, eternal, kind, and just before you drift into the next silence, a gentle thought lingers in your mind. If entropy preserves patterns, even as it transforms them, then perhaps memory itself is one more echo of that same universal balance. You lie beneath an imagined sky, not the sky of your childhood or your present world, but one vast and ancient, stretching far beyond the reach of memory. The air feels thin, almost transparent, as though it too remembers the first moment light was born. Above you, the night hums with quiet order, constellations poised like delicate stitches in the fabric of time. You breathe, and in that breath, you feel something slow and steady, the pulse of the universe's clock. It does not tick with gears or sound, but with change itself. Stars burn, galaxies drift, dust gathers and dissolves again. Every shimmer, every faint flicker of light that reaches your eyes is the whisper of entropy unfolding, a message from the past still making its way across the sea of space. Time, you realize, is not something the universe owns. It is something it reveals. The stars, in their silent brilliance, are its keepers. Each one burns with exquisite precision, a nuclear balance between inward gravity and outward energy. Deep inside their cores, hydrogen atoms fuse into helium, releasing light, warmth, and motion. But this transformation is not endless. With every reaction, with every photon that escapes into the dark, the universe tips a little further toward equilibrium. This is how the arrow of time takes its shape, not in minutes or hours, but in the simple truth that heat always flows outward, never back. You watch it happen in your mind's eye, a star collapsing under its own weight, another expanding into a red giant. The light travels outward in ripples, cooling as it goes, until it touches your planet, your skin, your heartbeat. By the time that starlight finds you, millions or even billions of years have passed. You are seeing what was, not what is. That is the secret rhythm beneath the stars. Every glimmer in the sky is a glimpse of the past, glowing quietly in the present. You let that realization settle, like soft rain falling on thought. When the first stars were born, the universe was still young, still sorting itself from the heat of the Big Bang. The cosmos was thick then, a fog of hydrogen and helium adrift in cooling expansion. Slowly, gravity began to weave the fog together, pulling atoms into denser clouds. As the clouds tightened, they heated, and the first sparks of fusion lit the darkness that was the universe's first heartbeat, the beginning of time as you understand it. From that moment, the arrow of time gained direction. Energy began to flow, hot to cold, concentrated to diffuse. The stars became both the markers and the instruments of this great transition. When you look up now, you are not merely seeing their light. You are watching entropy at work, written across the heavens. Every glowing point in the sky is a small imbalance, striving for balance, energy moving outward, disorder gently increasing. And yet, paradoxically, there is immense order in this. Stars are not chaos. They are the universe's most intricate expressions of harmony. The equations that govern them, the delicate interplay of pressure, temperature, and gravity, are among the most precise in all of physics. The universe does not tumble into disorder wildly. It drifts into it gracefully, with rhythm, with sequence, like a cosmic waltz that knows exactly how to end. You imagine drifting between the stars, far from any warmth. Out here, time feels slower, not because it truly is, but because there are fewer events to mark its passing. In the deep interstellar dark, nothing burns, nothing cools, nothing stirs. Time, in such stillness, seems almost to hold its breath. Yet even here, entropy continues. Faint radiation spreads, dust drifts, atoms exchange faint whispers of motion. The universe does not stop changing, even when it appears motionless. That constancy, the endless progression toward equilibrium, is what gives time its direction. Without entropy, time would have no meaning. A clock could not tick, a heart could not beat, a star could not shine. It is this asymmetry, the difference between what is concentrated and what is dispersed, that keeps the universe alive with moments. You remember how, on Earth, a clock marks seconds by motion, a pendulum swinging, a gear turning, a digital pulse flickering. But the cosmic clock marks its moments by transformation. A star forms, another dies. Galaxies stretch and collide. Heat fades, light dims, and the great fabric expands. Each event, from the faint hum of a distant quasar to the quiet cooling of a stone, is a note in the universe's long, unfolding rhythm. Entropy is not destruction, it is direction. Far across the night, a supernova blooms. You see it as a silent burst, light erupting where darkness once lived. For a brief time, the energy within that dying star floods space with brilliance, scattering elements into the void. Those elements, carbon, oxygen, iron, will one day seed new stars, new worlds, perhaps even new lives, in the collapse and renewal of stars. The arrow of time becomes circular, not reversing, but reimagining itself. Out of dissolution comes creation. Out of loss, new beginnings. Entropy, then, is not merely a fading. It is the constant rebalancing that allows new structures to emerge. You, too, are built from that pattern, from the ashes of ancient stars that once blazed and fell silent. Every atom in your body has participated in this endless migration of order into energy, energy into dust, dust into life. When you gaze at the stars, you are not separate from them. You are their continuation. You are a small, temporary arrangement of matter that remembers, however faintly, what it feels like to burn. The clock beneath the stars does not tick faster or slower for anyone. Yet perception bends it, gravity curves it, energy warps its rhythm. Near a black hole, time stretches like fabric pulled taut. Clocks slow, moments lengthen. Entropy, too, behaves differently, trapped by the immense pull of gravity. It reorganizes itself along the event horizon, storing information as faint ripples on space-time's surface. The universe keeps no perfect clock, only these relative rhythms, all governed by the same quiet law of increase. If you could listen to time itself, it would sound like a distant ocean, waves forever receding, never returning the same way twice. You close your eyes and imagine the Milky Way turning slowly above you. Each rotation takes hundreds of millions of years. Every cycle drags starlight outward, spreading energy thinner and thinner across the vastness. This, too, is entropy at work, patient, inevitable. Beautiful, the spiral arms of galaxies stretch like the hands of a clock you can never read all at once. They measure not hours or days, but epochs, the lifespan of stars, the evolution of light, the long sigh of existence, finding equilibrium. Somewhere in that rotation is your moment, your life, brief as a spark, bright as a thought. The universe makes space for you, just as it does for the stars. You are a necessary flicker in the pattern, an observer through whom the cosmos knows itself. As the imagined sky deepens, you begin to sense how time moves differently here, less like a line, more like a breath. Inhale, creation; exhale, dissolution. The galaxies expand with each cosmic breath, and entropy carries them gently apart. The further they drift, the cooler they become. The cosmic background radiation, once blindingly hot, now hums faintly at just a few degrees above absolute zero. That fading warmth is the quiet ticking of the universe's oldest clock. Its tempo slows, but it never ceases, and so you lie there, beneath all that has ever been, beneath the weightless hum of existence itself, and you feel it, the slow pulse of the cosmos, counting down through its transformations. You are part of this timing, not separate from it, not against it. You are both the observer and the observed, the question and the continuation. Eventually, the stars you see will fade. Their light will stretch into invisibility as the universe expands. Galaxies will slip beyond one another's sight, and the night will grow colder, quieter. Yet even then, entropy will not end. It will only settle. The energy of every sun, every atom, will distribute until no more gradients remain. The arrow of time will soften, not break. The clock beneath the stars will slow, its pendulum finding rest, not because time has stopped, but because balance has been reached, and in that balance lies a peace beyond motion, a stillness too vast for sorrow. You open your mind to the silence between heartbeats. You imagine the stars not as distant fires, but as the universe's own reflections, reminders that change is the most constant thing there is. And as you drift toward rest, a question hums softly, like a lullaby from the edge of creation. If time is born from change, what does it mean when change finally stops? The warmth of the universe is its memory, a gentle, fading echo of everything that has ever burned. You float now between stars, surrounded by their radiant breath. Each sun glows with its own story of heat, a steady release of energy, born deep in its heart. Yet, even as they shine, they are giving something away. Every beam that escapes a star will never return. It travels outward forever, cooling as it goes, its brightness stretching thinner with distance. This one-way journey of heat is what gives time its direction, the irreversible flow of energy from where it is concentrated to where it is not. You feel it everywhere, in the sunlight that warms your skin, in the dying ember of a meteor's glow, in the long sigh of the universe as it expands and cools. In the beginning, there was only heat, the newborn universe, seconds old, blazed with unimaginable energy, so dense, so hot that matter and radiation were one. There were no stars, no atoms, only a brilliant fog of particles colliding, exchanging, transforming. In that chaos, Something quiet was happening, energy was spreading, temperature was evening out. The universe was cooling, not because it lost energy, but because space itself was growing. Every expansion made room for light to travel farther, for motion to slow, for temperature to fall. This cooling, this gradual smoothing of heat, was the first whisper of entropy. You might imagine it like a breath exhaled in infinite slow motion. Even now, billions of years later, that exhale continues. The universe has never inhaled again. You drift closer to a star, perhaps not the sun, but one like it, golden and patient. Its warmth fills the surrounding dark with gentle radiation, each photon carrying a fragment of its story inside. The star burns hydrogen into helium through fusion, releasing energy that struggles upward from the core to the surface. The journey is long. A single photon might spend thousands of years colliding, scattering, absorbed, and re-emitted before finally breaking free into space. Once it escapes, it will never return. Its path is straight and endless. Like time itself, it may travel for eons before it reaches any destination. Perhaps a distant planet, perhaps nothing at all. But no matter where it goes, that warmth will only spread thinner, its wavelength stretching as space expands. It cools, not because it weakens, but because the universe itself is stretching beneath it. That is the secret. Warmth is the measure of concentration, and the universe is forever diluting its own heat. When you place your hand near a flame, you feel warmth flowing toward you, but the flame feels nothing in return. This is the one-sided law of thermodynamics. Heat moves from hot to cold, never the other way around. The reason lies not in cruelty, but in probability. There are simply more ways for energy to be spread out than to be gathered together. A cup of hot tea cools not because it must, but because it is far more likely that the molecules of air around it will share its warmth than that they will all agree to return it. Entropy, at its heart, is about what is likely, what configurations the universe prefers, and it prefers diffusion. It prefers balance. The same rule governs stars, galaxies, even the cosmic background itself. Every photon, every vibration, every thermal sigh of matter drifts toward evenness. The warmth of a flame, the heat of a star, the birth of a galaxy, all are temporary ripples in an ocean that longs to still dot in the silence between galaxies. You feel the faint trace of something ancient, the cosmic microwave background. It is the afterglow of creation, the leftover radiation from the Big Bang itself. Once, this light was as fierce as the surface of a star. Now, after nearly 14 billion years of expansion, it has cooled to just a few degrees above absolute zero. You could not feel it on your skin. You could not see it with your eyes. Yet it fills all of space, evenly and endlessly, the same in every direction. It is the most perfect whisper of heat the universe has ever known. When scientists first detected it, they heard it not as light but as noise, a faint hiss in their radio antennas. They had accidentally tuned in to the oldest warmth there is. That hum still surrounds you now, gentle and constant. It is the background music of time itself, and every moment it cools a little more. You think of the universe as an enormous vessel filled with light, but light does not stay still. It stretches as space expands, its wavelength growing longer, its color redder, its energy fading. This redshift is entropy's lullaby, a cosmic sigh that carries time forward. A photon that began as blue might become red, then infrared, then microwave, then radio, until it fades into a tone too deep to hear, too long to measure. Each shift is irreversible. Once energy has spread, it cannot be reclaimed without more effort than the universe can give. That is why warmth feels like comfort, and its absence feels like time. Every fading ember, every cooling star, every distant sun sinking below the horizon is a reminder of the same law. Heat can only leave. You drift again through cosmic space, past the remnants of ancient stars, white dwarfs, neutron stars, black holes. Each one tells a story of energy escaping, of balance approaching. White dwarfs are the cooling hearts of one's luminous suns, still glowing faintly as they release their remaining heat into the void. Over trillions of years, they will dim to black, their warmth spent. Neutron stars, compressed to unimaginable density, radiate their last light as ghostly beams across the dark. Even black holes, those voracious devourers of energy, are not eternal. They too emit faint radiation, Hawking radiation, as quantum fluctuations steal tiny bits of heat from their edges. Slowly, they will evaporate into nothing. No fire, no warmth, no light lasts forever. This truth might sound somber, but it carries a deep serenity. The universe is not dying in sorrow, it is cooling into peace. Entropy is often imagined as loss, but in reality, it is balance seeking completion. Heat moves outward because that is where there is room. It fills the emptiness gently until no difference remains. Even the smallest warmth you have ever felt, the sunlight on your eyelids, the steam rising from your breath, is part of this grand migration. You are surrounded by heat in motion, energy changing form, radiating outward, connecting everything that has ever existed. Each warm touch, each flicker of starlight, is a note in an endless cooling symphony. As you travel deeper in thought, you begin to notice that the story of warmth is also the story of light. They are two ways of describing the same escape. A photon is simply heat made visible, a messenger carrying energy from one place to another. It is always moving, never resting. It knows no pause, no turning back. Every time you see a glint of starlight, you are witnessing time's movement, entropy's gentle unfolding. That light has been traveling for eons, losing energy, yet gaining beauty through its persistence, even in its fading. It tells you that the universe remembers its warmth through motion. There will come a time when all warmth is evenly spread, when every atom, every photon, every ounce of energy shares the same temperature. This is called heat death. Though the phrase is softer than it sounds, it is not an end so much as a stillness, a universe at rest. No gradients, no flows, no exchanges, just an infinite, silent equilibrium. Time will have lost its arrow. There will be no more direction, for nothing will change. Yet even this quiet horizon of history is part of the same story that began with fire. The universe's slow exhale, cooling into perfect calm. You open your awareness once more to the present, to the stars still burning, to the warmth still reaching you. The night above you glows faintly, full of energy on its long journey outward, and you realize every warmth you have ever felt, every ray of sunlight, every soft touch of heat is borrowed. It is ancient light, given freely, passing through you on its way to the endless dark. Nothing holds on to warmth forever. And that is why it is precious. To feel heat is to feel time moving, the transfer of energy across moments. From star to skin, from breath to air, each heartbeat, each flicker of flame is a small echo of the universe's first fire. As you drift again into the rhythm of thought and breath, you sense how the universe continues its cooling softly, patiently. The warmth that never returns is not lost. It has simply become part of everything. And as you feel your own body's quiet temperature against the coolness of the air, you are reminded, even the smallest warmth is a memory of creation, the last trace of that first eternal light. You exhale slowly, your mind quiet, your awareness wide as the sky. The stars above are not forever, but their glow still teaches this truth. To shine is to share your heat, to cool is to rest, and somewhere between those two lies the gentle heartbeat of time itself, leading you toward the next understanding, toward the realization that what fades is never gone, only transformed. The universe has no diary, no archive in which every movement is preserved exactly as it was. What has happened leaves traces, not copies, shadows imprinted in new arrangements of matter and energy. You float again in the vastness between stars, where silence feels infinite and memory dissolves. The warmth of the previous chapter, that quiet breath of heat, has drifted outward, faint and scattered. What remains now is not the story of where each photon has gone, but only that they have gone. This is the nature of entropy. It does not destroy, it forgets. It smooths sharp details into soft gradients, dispersing information until what was once distinct becomes indistinguishable. You might imagine the universe as a great storyteller, but it is one that cannot remember its own words once they are spoken. Every particle, every wave, carries information about its state, where it is, how fast it moves, how much energy it holds. At the beginning of time, when matter was young, this information was exquisitely precise. Every quark and photon knew its place. But as the universe expanded, collisions blurred those memories. Interactions mixed them, scattering detail into ever larger scales. What was once a clear picture became a painting made of mist. You drift now toward a dying star, a red giant, its surface trembling, shedding its outer layers into the dark. Each atom it releases carries a faint story of what came before: temperature, density, pressure. Yet those stories are incomplete. As the gases drift and cool, their histories overlap, their boundaries dissolve. The universe does not preserve the full record of the star's life. It only keeps the outcome. This forgetting is not an accident. It is a law. Entropy always increases, and in doing so, it erases the fine details of what once was. That is why no process ever truly reverses, not because it cannot in theory, but because to do so would require knowing everything that has been lost, and the universe, vast as it is, no longer knows. Imagine a ripple moving across the surface of a lake. It begins clear, a single ring expanding outward from a drop of water. But as it spreads, it collides with other ripples, with the wind, with the shape of the shore. Each interaction changes it slightly until the original pattern can no longer be traced. That is what time does to matter. Information, like the ripple, continues to exist in principle, scattered, distributed, but it becomes inaccessible. The past is not gone. It is entangled in too many outcomes. You recall the cup of tea cooling from before, or the starlight stretching into red. Now imagine trying to make that warmth return. You would have to reverse the motion of every molecule in the universe, every photon, every atom, every vibration. The probability of doing so is not merely small. It is so infinitesimal that it may as well be zero. The second law of thermodynamics is the universe's declaration of irreversibility. Once energy has spread, it will never gather in exactly the same way again. This is why time flows forward, why events unfold and do not replay. Not because the laws of physics forbid reversal, but because the universe has forgotten the specific instructions to undo what it has done. You pass now into a nebula, a soft cloud of gas, all that remains of once bright stars. The light here is diffuse, pink and gold, glowing from the last embers of ionized hydrogen. Each atom within it has been through countless forms: star, dust, planet, vapor, each transformation rearranging its companions. If the universe could remember every configuration, it might recreate the same stars again, the same orbits, the same worlds. But entropy ensures that these exact conditions will never return. The nebula will form new stars, yes, but not the same ones. Its next generation will burn differently, live differently, end differently. That is how the cosmos moves forward, not through repetition, but through reinvention. Even black holes, which seem to be the ultimate keepers of secrets, obey this forgetting. For decades, physicists believed that black holes destroyed information completely, that whatever fell in was erased forever. But then came a strange twist. Stephen Hawking showed that black holes emit faint radiation as they evaporate. This meant that, in some form, the information must leak back out, scrambled, unrecognizable, but not truly gone. The universe does not lose information absolutely. It simply hides it so well that it might as well have forgotten. Every particle that enters a black hole contributes to a faint shimmer on its surface, a holographic record, impossibly dense and yet incomplete. The details of what fell in are encoded in such complexity that no being, no machine, could ever reconstruct them. So the black hole remembers in the only way the universe knows how. By forgetting everything except the total sum, you begin to understand that forgetting is not a flaw in nature's design. It is the design itself. Without forgetting, there would be no direction, no unfolding, no growth. If every atom kept perfect memory, the universe would be trapped in exact repetition, motion without evolution, patterns without transformation. Entropy liberates creation from sameness. Each collision, each decay, each cooling event opens new possibilities because it lets go of what came before. You feel this in the motion of galaxies. They do not orbit as they once did, their arms stretched by time and gravity into new spirals. Stars within them drift from order into randomness, from structure into diffusion. And through that diffusion, the cosmos breathes, each forgetting, making space for something new to arise. Consider a simple image, a handful of sand dropped into the wind at the moment you release it. Every grain has a position, a path. But once the breeze scatters them, the pattern is lost. To reverse it, you would need to know the exact speed and direction of every grain, the eddy of every air current, the vibration of every molecule. Impossible. And so the act of scattering, of entropy increasing, becomes the act of forgetting. The universe performs this gesture billions of times every second, across every scale. It erases and rewrites simultaneously. It keeps no perfect record of the grains it has tossed to the stars. You drift further into the void, where galaxies appear like delicate coral in a dark ocean. Their light travels toward you through eons of expansion. Along the way, it collides with dust, gas, gravity, space itself, all of which alter its path, its frequency, its story by the time it reaches your eyes. That light is a survivor of a million transformations. You see it, but not as it was. You see the memory of what the universe allows to remain. Even observation is filtered through entropy. The universe reveals just enough for you to glimpse its flow, never enough to reconstruct its past in full. There is a deep comfort in this, though if the universe truly remembered everything, it could never rest. Every photon, every vibration, would have to be preserved, stacked upon itself forever. The cosmos would drown in its own information. Instead, it loosens its grip. It lets the details fade, holding only what matters for continuity, energy, momentum, conservation, the broad strokes of existence. It is like the way the ocean forgets the shape of each wave but remembers the tide. You begin to see that entropy is the great editor trimming, simplifying, softening the universe's excess precision. It smooths the jagged edges of memory until all that remains is essence. And yet, in that simplification, something beautiful happens. Patterns emerge that are larger, slower, and more enduring than any individual moment. Galaxies swirl, not because of their individual stars' memories, but because of the shared forgetting that lets them flow together. Mountains form not from the intention of atoms, but from their collective drift toward balance. Forgetting makes patterns possible. Still, you might wonder, does this forgetting mean loss? Perhaps not. Perhaps it means transformation, the way sound becomes silence, not by vanishing, but by spreading. Every bit of energy that moves outward carries part of a story. It may be unreadable, but it is still there, diffused into the fabric of everything. So the universe's forgetfulness is not amnesia, it is translation. The details fade, but their meaning continues in another form. Your body, too, is built of forgotten stars. Their memories burned away long ago, yet their essence persists in you. You drift one last time through the cooling cosmos, feeling its immensity, its vast peace. Entropy has guided every transformation, every act of remembering and unremembering. And you sense that this forgetting is not empty. It is the space in which time unfolds. The universe remembers nothing because it must always move forward. Every moment is a surrender, a letting go that makes the next possible. In this gentle erasure lies continuity, not absence. The stars dissolve, galaxies fade, black holes evaporate. Yet something subtle remains, the possibility of new beginnings. As you breathe quietly, suspended in the cosmic dark, you feel a question forming soft and persistent. If the universe remembers nothing, then where does memory itself come from? You drift once more among the stars, a silent observer in the endless dark. Around you, galaxies swirl like delicate brushstrokes on a black canvas, each motion governed not by memory but by the inevitability of change. Irreversibility is the thread that binds the cosmos together. It is the law that ensures stars form, burn, and fade in predictable rhythm. It is the pulse of entropy, steady and unyielding, giving structure to what might otherwise be chaos. You feel it as a gentle insistence, the universe refusing to return to what was. No photon retraces its path exactly. No star reverses its fusion. Yet, in this surrender, there is harmony. Consider a star igniting for the first time. Hydrogen atoms collapse under gravity, heating the core until nuclear fusion begins. This process is irreversible. Once the star's core balances pressure and gravity, its energy flows outward steadily, stabilizing the star for millions or billions of years. Yet this stability is only temporary. Fusion consumes hydrogen, creating helium and heavier elements. The core changes, expands, contracts. Eventually, the star leaves its main sequence, swelling into a red giant, shedding mass, scattering material into the surrounding void. The process cannot be undone. The star cannot rewind its life. And yet, in this one-way sequence, there is beauty. The elements released will form new stars, new planets, perhaps even life. Irreversibility is the cosmos' way of composing, each act of change a note in a larger, unfolding symphony. You imagine a white dwarf cooling slowly after a star has expended its nuclear fuel. It radiates heat into the emptiness, losing energy gradually, the flow outward unstoppable. Time moves forward for the dwarf, just as it moves forward for everything else. Nothing returns to its original state, and yet the energy, the motion, the particles continue, redistributed, transformed, recycled. Irreversibility does not mean disappearance. It means transformation according to the universe's own rhythms. Even the cooling of a white dwarf is part of a larger dance. Nearby gas clouds absorb its faint heat, photons spread across space, and the cosmic background continues its slow, steady decline toward equilibrium. Consider the neutron stars, remnants of massive stars that once exploded in supernova. They spin with incredible speed, emitting energy along magnetic poles in beams of radiation. Each rotation, each emission, carries energy outward. Time pushes forward. The star spins down, slowly, irreversibly losing energy. Yet, in this loss, it generates harmony patterns, detectable across light years, predictable and elegant. The universe thrives in this irreversibility. Without it, there would be no rhythm, no continuity, no cosmic melody. Each particle, each photon, each transformation contributes to the larger structure. You think of galaxies themselves as enormous clocks, their arms tracing arcs dictated by gravity, rotation, and expansion. Their stars are born and die according to irreversible laws, giving form and predictability to their spirals. Gas clouds collapse to form stars. Stars explode to form clouds. Energy spreads outward. Time's arrow points forward. Even collisions between galaxies follow this pattern. When two spiral galaxies merge, they do not return to their original forms. Stars scatter, gas clouds ignite in bursts of new star formation, black holes may merge. The outcome is unique, a new galaxy with its own rhythm, born from irreversible interactions. This is the cosmos method of renewal. Let processes flow in one direction, and harmony will emerge naturally. Now you drift farther into the cold void between galaxies. Even here, where nothing seems to happen, irreversibility persists. The faint cosmic microwave background radiation cools steadily. Photons travel without obstruction, stretching into longer wavelengths. The universe expands, distances increase, energy disperses, time moves forward, silent and steady. Every transformation follows its path, never reversing, yet forming part of the overall pattern. On smaller scales, consider radioactive decay, a neutron transforming into a proton, electron, and neutrino. Each event is probabilistic but irreversible. Atoms cannot spontaneously revert to their prior state. Yet this decay fuels energy in planets and stars alike, driving processes that create light, heat, and motion. Irreversibility permeates all scales, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy. It is the quiet conductor of the universe's symphony. Without it, stars would not shine steadily, galaxies would not maintain shape, energy would not flow. The forward motion of time, measurable in each irreversible process, is the heartbeat of the cosmos. You visualize a black hole forming from a collapsing star. Its core compresses, gravity intensifies, and space-time itself curves into an inescapable well. The formation is irreversible. Matter cannot energy cannot unradiate. Yet even this extreme event contributes to cosmic harmony. A black hole's gravity guides stars and gas around it. Its eventual Hawking radiation releases faint energy, slowly redistributing heat. Irreversible events, even when extreme, create balance over time. Time, entropy, and irreversibility are not enemies of order. They are its architects. Through unidirectional change, the universe achieves the patterns that make galaxies, stars, and planets stable. Imagine a comet falling into a star. Once it vaporizes, its molecules scatter into the stellar atmosphere. That event cannot reverse. Yet the material adds subtly to the star's composition, perhaps influencing the birth of planets. Irreversibility is not loss. It is reconfiguration. The cosmos maintains coherence through forward motion, even while individual events cannot repeat. You notice the elegance in this. Every irreversible event is a brushstroke, individually transient, collectively eternal. Now, consider the expansion of the universe itself. Space stretches, distances grow, energy spreads, galaxies drift apart. The cosmic background cools. Time's arrow is built into the very geometry of space. Nothing reverses this expansion. Nothing can return to the prior density. Yet this flow allows the cosmos to remain orderly at a grand scale. Irreversibility and harmony are entwined. By surrendering the possibility of backward motion, the universe achieves stability, balance, and beauty. Even light illustrates this harmony. Photons emitted by distant stars travel for millions of years. Each interaction they experience, scattering, absorption, redshift, is irreversible. Yet The photons themselves form part of a larger, coherent picture, galaxies glowing in spirals, clusters shining in groups, the cosmic web stretching across space, each irreversible process, individually chaotic, contributes to an overarching rhythm. Time moves forward. Structure persists. Harmony emerges naturally from the forward-only flow in your mind. You watch the universe as a conductor watches an orchestra. No note is repeated exactly. No instrument plays backward. Yet the music is consistent, flowing, beautiful. The harmony is a result of surrender to irreversibility. Every star, every photon, every collision, every decay obeys the forward motion of time. Each obeys the laws of physics that permit motion but forbid exact reversal. And in that obedience, the universe produces a melody of stars and galaxies, expanding yet coherent, dynamic yet stable. You feel it now, the quiet, persistent rhythm of time in all directions. From the fusion in stellar core to the drift of galaxies, from the cooling of white dwarfs to the slow stretching of photons. Every irreversible process contributes to the same slow, cosmic pulse. Even the void is part of the harmony. Empty space stretches, energy diffuses, entropy increases, all in quiet agreement with the rules that govern the cosmos. You are suspended in this music, a witness to its subtle patterns, a listener to the universe's patient cadence. Irreversibility is not restriction. It is the foundation of balance. It is the rule that allows the universe to sustain its form, its rhythm, and its gentle, endless melody. You take a slow, deep breath, feeling the pulse of the cosmos in your chest. Every event, every particle, every photon moving forward. A thought lingers softly, like the echo of a distant melody. If the universe achieves harmony through irreversibility, then perhaps every moment of forward motion, however small, is a note in its eternal song. You drift once more in the vast black ocean of space, surrounded by stars that shimmer like distant lanterns, their light carried to you across millions of years. The cosmos feels immense, yet each motion is deliberate, slow, and continuous. Every galaxy is a vessel adrift, each star a flickering heartbeat within it. You notice the subtle flows, gravitational currents, tidal interactions, and rotational momentum, all shaping the cosmic landscape in a rhythm far older than memory. Consider the Milky Way. Its spiral arms stretch outward, billions of stars tracing arcs in silent, steady rotations. Every star moves according to the pull of gravity, yet no two paths are identical. The arms drift imperceptibly over millions of years, shaped by collisions with clouds of gas, nearby stars, and dark matter's invisible hand. This is the gentle drift of cosmic fate. Nothing rushes, nothing reverses. Every motion is part of the universe's unidirectional flow, guided by time and entropy. Stars, too, follow these currents. Deep within stellar nurseries, clouds of gas collapse under gravity, slowly spinning into disks. Matter coalesces, heating as it compresses, until nuclear fusion ignites. A new star is born. It begins its life quietly, unaware of its eventual demise, yet it moves inevitably along the path dictated by energy, mass, and entropy. Some stars will burn for billions of years, stable and bright. Others will blaze briefly, their lives explosive and ephemeral. No star will ever repeat its journey exactly. Each is a small note in the universe's endless symphony, drifting forward in time's unbroken flow. Galaxies themselves drift too. They rotate, stretch, and sometimes collide. When two galaxies meet, the encounter is never reversed. Stars scatter, clouds of gas ignite, and new patterns emerge. Irreversible events shape the cosmos, giving rise to new structures, new possibilities. This slow, steady drift, guided by gravity and shaped by entropy, is the universe's quiet choreography. It is as if the cosmos moves according to a song you cannot hear, but which you can feel in the rhythm of motion, the elegance of trajectories, the inevitability of drift. Even the void between galaxies is not empty. Dark matter, unseen but pervasive, tugs on stars and galaxies alike. Its presence guides motions across space, subtly influencing rotations and orbits. You feel the invisible currents pulling, shaping, aligning, a hidden architecture underlying the apparent randomness. Time moves forward, and every particle, every photon, every star drifts along this path. There is no turning back, only continued movement. You notice that every drifting element has its own pace. Massive galaxies barely rotate over hundreds of millions of years, while stars within them orbit their centers at incredible speeds. Gas clouds shift gently, clouds of dust expand, supernova explode and fade. Each scale carries its own rhythm, yet all contribute to the harmony of the larger cosmic flow. Entropy shapes it all. It smooths irregularities, spreads energy, ensures that motion continues forward rather than reversing. Without this invisible guidance, stars would not form, galaxies would not persist, and the universe would be a shapeless jumble. Consider a massive star nearing the end of its life. Its core fuses heavier elements, pushing outward against gravity. Eventually, fusion cannot continue. The star collapses, exploding as a supernova. Its remnants, neutrons, dust, and energy, drift into surrounding space, joining the interstellar medium where they will seed the birth of future stars. Nothing reverses. Nothing returns to the original arrangement. And yet, in this destruction, a subtle creation occurs. The star's material becomes part of a greater cycle, a gentle, unbroken drift of matter through space and time. Galaxies collide to over millions of years, their stars intermingling in silent dances, shaping the structure of the universe irreversibly. Spirals twist, cores condense, gas ignites into new generations of stars. Chaos becomes order, but order is never static. Everything flows forward, never returning to the same state. This is the essence of cosmic fate, not sudden or violent, but continuous, inevitable, and precise. Now imagine a distant quasar, its black hole devouring matter with unrelenting gravity. The energy released pushes outward, heating surrounding gas, triggering new star formation in neighboring regions. The process cannot be undone, yet its impact ripples across millions of light years, subtly guiding the evolution of nearby galaxies. Irreversibility here creates opportunity. Every destruction carries within it the seed of creation, and the drift of matter through time ensures that the universe never stagnates. Even photons, the carriers of light, are part of this cosmic drift. They leave their stars, traveling through space, gradually redshifting as the universe expands. By the time they reach you, they are ancient messengers, fading yet persistent. They illuminate distant galaxies, revealing patterns shaped by gravity, motion, and entropy. No photon returns to its origin. No light ever travels backward, and yet each contributes to the universe's continuous, gentle unfolding. You float through a region of space where galaxies are sparse, and yet even here, motion is constant. Dark matter's influence, tidal forces, and energy distribution continue their quiet work. Stars orbit their galactic centers, gas clouds drift, and light stretches across the void. Every trajectory is unique, irreversible, yet part of a larger harmonious pattern. Even emptiness participates in the drift of cosmic fate. The universe moves forward because everything, matter, energy, space itself participates. You see that the cosmos is not random, but patterned. Irreversible processes create predictable outcomes over time. Stars form from gas clouds. Galaxies rotate, merge, and stabilize. Energy flows outward. Heat diffuses. Entropy shapes the possibilities. This slow, inevitable forward motion is a form of balance. The universe maintains structure by allowing change, never returning to previous states. Harmony emerges through drift, not repetition. Think of it as a slow, cosmic river. Each star, each galaxy, each photon is a particle in that current. No drop moves backward, yet, together, they trace coherent paths, carving channels of motion, shaping the universe with quiet, patient precision. Irreversibility is the river's law. Entropy is the current, time is the flow, and all that is drifting participates willingly, as if guided by an unseen hand. Even massive structures, like galaxy clusters, follow the same principle. They rotate, attract, merge, and sometimes stretch apart due to the universe's expansion. Each interaction is unique, never repeated, yet the overall structure remains coherent. Order emerges from the forward-only progression, a harmony achieved not by static balance, but by continuous motion. You imagine watching this cosmic drift over billions of years. Spirals rotate, stars are born and die, galaxies collide and settle. Dark matter guides, energy flows, entropy smooths, and time moves steadily forward. No pattern ever exactly repeats, yet the universe feels stable. Harmony is not achieved by repetition, but by persistence, by the gentle, unyielding drift of matter and energy along irreversible paths. You realize, finally, that fate itself is not abrupt or rigid. It is the slow accumulation of countless irreversible events, woven together into the fabric of galaxies, stars, and cosmic flows. Each moment contributes to the next. Each event nudges the universe forward, never backward. You breathe slowly, suspended in space, feeling the rhythm of the cosmos in your chest, the quiet, unbroken drift of galaxies, the gentle pulse of irreversible processes. And as your mind floats among these immense, slow motions, a thought arises softly. If the universe achieves balance through continuous drift, then perhaps every moment of forward motion, however small, is part of its enduring melody. You drift once again in the vast expanse, where light from distant galaxies filters gently through the void. The universe feels immense, and yet, in its magnitude, there is a delicate choreography. Every star, cloud, and galaxy participates in a slow folding of time, a gradual transformation that preserves structure while allowing change. The cosmos does not rush. It moves in quiet, inexorable steps. Entropy ensures that every particle, every photon, every star follows a forward path, never retracing, never pausing, yet always forming patterns that endure. Consider a spiral galaxy. Its arms are not static. Stars drift along them, gas clouds compress, supernova scatter elements, and dark matter guides the overall rotation. Over millions of years, the galaxy folds in upon itself, subtly changing shape, yet remaining recognizably a spiral, a coherent system. The slow folding of cosmic time is apparent in these patterns. Irreversible processes, fusion, supernova explosions, gravitational interactions reshape matter while maintaining harmony. You feel the quiet rhythm of this transformation, like an immense origami being folded by invisible hands. Each fold is irreversible, yet the overall design emerges as a stable, enduring form. Stars to participate in this slow folding. They are born from collapsing clouds of gas and dust, igniting fusion in their cores. Over millions or billions of years, they consume hydrogen, fuse heavier elements, and eventually die, either quietly as white dwarfs or violently as supernova. Even in death, they fold their matter into the universe, seeding new stars, new planets, new possibilities. The atoms in your body, the oxygen you breathe, the iron in your blood, all were once part of this folding cycle, transformed through countless irreversible events. Time folds, but it does not undo. The past contributes to the present, but never returns. The universe remembers only the outcome, not the exact path. You drift into a region of space where two galaxies approach each other. Their encounter will unfold over millions of years. Stars from each system weave through one another without collision, while gas clouds compress and ignite bursts of new star formation. Tidal forces stretch and fold the galaxies, twisting their structures into new configurations. This folding is gradual, almost imperceptible in the short term. Yet the result is dramatic. Two distinct galaxies merge into a single coherent structure. Irreversibility ensures that this new form will never revert to the original pair. And yet the universe retains its balance, its harmony emerging from countless such transformations. You notice that folding occurs at every scale, even in the vast emptiness between clusters of galaxies. Matter drifts under gravity, forming filaments and voids in the cosmic web. Dark matter, unseen but pervasive, shapes the paths along which ordinary matter folds and flows. Energy, too, folds. Photons redshift as space expands, stretching their wavelengths, carrying heat and light across unimaginable distances. The universe is always folding its history, compressing and stretching, distributing matter and energy with patient precision. Consider the life cycle of a massive star. Its core fuses elements heavier than iron until fusion halts, leading to a catastrophic collapse. The resulting supernova spreads elements across space, folding new material into surrounding clouds. Some of these atoms will become new stars, new planets, or even life. The folding of time is apparent in this process. Destruction leads to creation. Irreversible events generate order out of chaos. Even black holes participate. Their immense gravity folds space-time around them, capturing matter and energy, bending trajectories, while hawking radiation slowly leaks information back into the universe. Folding, in this sense, is both structural and temporal. The cosmos rearranges itself, preserving continuity while allowing transformation. You float among nebulae, observing the interplay of gas and dust. Stellar winds push material outward. Radiation compresses other regions. Gravity draws clouds inward. Over millions of years, these clouds fold upon themselves, forming stars and planetary systems. You realize that every cosmic fold, whether the rotation of a galaxy, the collapse of a cloud, or the explosion of a supernova, is a manifestation of entropy and irreversibility. The universe moves forward, redistributing energy and matter, folding history into structures that endure across eons. Even photons are folded into the cosmic story. Light from distant stars travels through space, sometimes bent by gravity, sometimes scattered by dust. By the time it reaches your eyes, it is not the same as when it left its source. Its path has been altered irreversibly, its energy redistributed by the expansion of the universe. Yet the light contributes to the greater pattern, illuminating structures formed by billions of years of folding. Each photon is a messenger of cosmic time, carrying with it evidence of the universe's gentle, irreversible shaping. You consider the vast cycles of galactic evolution. Stars form in spiral arms, live and die, enriching the interstellar medium with heavier elements. Gas clouds collapse, new stars ignite, and planets form. The spiral arms themselves drift, merge, and fold into new configurations. Nothing repeats exactly, yet the universe remains coherent. The folding of cosmic time is not random. It is guided by gravity, motion, and entropy. It preserves harmony while allowing change, creating balance from countless irreversible events. Even on the largest scales, cosmic folding is apparent. Galaxy clusters interact, filaments stretch across space, voids expand, energy spreads, matter moves, entropy increases. Each transformation is a fold in the tapestry of time, reshaping the universe without ever undoing what came before. You feel the elegance of this slow motion, the careful hand of physics guiding the cosmos forward. Now, imagine the end stages of stellar evolution on a grand scale. White dwarfs cool and fade, neutron stars spin down, black holes evaporate over unimaginable times. Galaxies drift apart due to cosmic expansion. Entropy continues its quiet work, smoothing irregularities, dispersing energy, folding history into new forms. This slow folding is the universe's way of maintaining structure while embracing change. The cosmos achieves balance, not by halting motion, but by permitting every transformation to flow forward irreversibly, yet harmoniously. You see the same principle at work in the delicate structures of spiral galaxies. Stellar orbits are not fixed, yet the overall form persists. Gas clouds drift, compress, and ignite new stars, folding old material into new configurations. Time's arrow ensures no repeat, yet pattern emerges naturally from the persistent drift. irreversible processes. When multiplied across billions of stars and galaxies, create harmony at unimaginable scales. You drift further, observing clusters of galaxies slowly orbiting one another. Gravity folds their paths, stretching arms, twisting cores, redistributing gas and stars. The process cannot reverse, yet the outcome is ordered. Stable clusters, coherent motions, a cosmic rhythm that endures. Even emptiness participates. Space itself stretches, photons lengthen, and energy redistributes. Every fold, every transformation follows the arrow of time, contributing to a cosmic order born of irreversibility. You sense the slow folding of cosmic time as you drift through the stars. Each galaxy, each star, each photon is a brushstroke painted across the canvas of spacetime. No pattern is repeated exactly, yet the resulting structure is elegant, balanced, enduring. Irreversibility does not prevent harmony. It enables it by permitting forward-only motion. The universe maintains stability, allowing cycles of birth, death, and transformation to continue. Through folding, the cosmos reconciles change with order, motion with structure, energy with form. You inhale slowly, feeling the pulse of countless transformations in your chest. Time folds, stars drift, galaxies spin and merge. The universe is both dynamic and coherent, a living structure shaped by slow, gentle, irreversible processes. And as you float through this immense, patient cosmos, a thought lingers softly. Every fold, every drift, every transformation, no matter how small, is part of the universe's eternal, unfolding melody, a harmony written in the slow, deliberate passage of cosmic time. You drift far beyond the familiar galaxies, into regions where light is faint and time stretches like a river with no end. Here, the cosmos seems to breathe slowly, almost imperceptibly. Every star, every galaxy, every photon participates in the gradual fading of existence. The universe is approaching a quiet edge, a state of immense calm and deep equilibrium. Here, motion has not ceased, but it has softened. Energy is dispersed. Stars have exhausted most of their fuel. Galaxies are drifting apart, carried by the expansion of space itself. Entropy has guided all processes toward simplicity, toward evenness, toward a serene conclusion. Consider the life of an ordinary star. Hydrogen fusion ceases, leaving a white dwarf, a slowly cooling ember, radiating faint light into the darkness. Over billions of years, it dims, becoming ever colder, smaller, and less luminous. The light it emits stretches across space, losing energy, lengthening its wavelength, approaching invisibility. Yet even in this fading, there is quiet beauty. The star has transformed matter, released energy, and contributed to the cycles of cosmic evolution. Its remnants will endure, folded into the fabric of time, invisible but present. Irreversibility ensures that these transformations cannot reverse. Yet harmony persists. Massive stars, too, have ended their lives, exploding as supernova or collapsing into black holes. The elements they released have been folded into subsequent generations of stars and planets. Some matter will never coalesce again. Other atoms will become part of new structures, carried forward by gravity and motion. The processes are irreversible. Yet the cosmos preserves coherence, creating stability from change. Time flows only forward, and the universe advances toward its quiet edge. You drift past the remnants of galaxies, now faint and diffuse, their stars scattered and dimmed. The spiral arms have unfurled, stretched by cosmic expansion, and gravity no longer holds the clusters together as tightly as it once did. Galaxies themselves are beginning to fade, their light dispersed across ever-increasing distances. The quiet edge of everything is not abrupt or violent. It is gentle, gradual, a slow unfolding of entropy, of matter and energy spreading thin. A cosmic twilight that extends for billions and trillions of years. Even black holes participate in this fading. Their immense gravity continues to curve space-time, capturing nearby matter, yet they themselves slowly evaporate through Hawking radiation, releasing faint energy over unimaginable timescales. Nothing returns to a previous state. The processes are irreversible, yet the universe remains coherent. Time and entropy have guided every event, ensuring that matter and energy continue to transform, folding the past into the present, leading all toward a serene equilibrium. Consider the fate of the universe's energy. Photons stretch as space expands, cooling into the deep, faint glow of the cosmic background. Matter continues to drift, collisions rare and slow. Stars fade, planets cool, galaxies recede from one another. The vast cosmos grows quieter, slower, more even, yet never static. You sense a rhythm here, subtle and eternal. Even as structures fade, the universe moves forward in graceful motion, carrying the residue of all that has ever existed. Time at this quiet edge feels different. It stretches, unbroken and continuous, yet almost imperceptible. Events happen, but sparsely. Light travels vast distances without interruption. Matter moves slowly, guided by residual gravity and the remnants of previous transformations. The arrow of time remains, yet its passage is gentle, almost soothing. Irreversibility has done its work. No star, no galaxy, no photon retraces its steps. Yet coherence persists, an underlying order emerging from the gradual dispersal of energy and matter. You drift past white dwarfs, neutron stars, and fading black holes. Their motions are slow but deliberate. The remnants of ancient supernova trace delicate patterns across space. Gas clouds collapse only rarely, forming the occasional star before energy dissipates further. Even in this quiet edge, the cosmos preserves harmony through forward motion and transformation. Entropy has not halted. It continues to guide, redistribute, smooth, and fold. The universe has slowed, yet it has not ceased. Its processes are gentle, measured, eternal. Consider the stretching of light itself. Photons emitted billions of years ago now travel at the red end of the spectrum, approaching invisibility. The energy they carry is faint, yet it is still part of the cosmic story. Even the faintest remnant contributes to the vast, ongoing drift toward equilibrium. The universe folds its history carefully, distributing energy and matter, while remaining coherent and graceful. Galaxies, too, have changed profoundly. They drift apart as the cosmic expansion accelerates. Gravitational binding becomes weaker over immense distances. Clusters dissolve, stars scatter, and the large-scale structures of the universe spread thin. Yet this spreading is not chaotic. It is the natural result of processes that have unfolded irreversibly for billions of years. Guided by entropy and time's unbroken arrow, the quiet edge is not empty. It is full of soft motion, subtle transformation, enduring patterns. Even on the grandest scales, the universe maintains elegance. Dark matter structures, faintly present, continue to influence motion. Energy continues to disperse, matter drifts slowly, and entropy ensures that all systems move forward toward equilibrium. The universe is both vast and gentle, ordered yet ever-changing, a magnificent testament to time's relentless passage. You drift past remnants of galaxies, faint embers of stars, and isolated black holes. The universe seems to breathe in slow cycles, each moment folding the past into the present, guiding matter and energy along pathways that will never reverse. Even as light fades and stars cool, coherence persists. Patterns remain, motion continues, and transformation is ongoing. The quiet edge is not an end, but a gentle transition, a state where the universe's processes have softened, yet continue in patient, irreducible harmony. You sense the subtle pulse of cosmic time here, the quiet rhythm of galaxies drifting, stars fading, photons stretching. Every irreversible process contributes to the overall balance. Every transformation, a small note in the eternal melody of the universe. This is the universe at its most serene. No abrupt change, no violent upheaval, only gentle motion toward equilibrium. Entropy has done its work. Time flows steadily forward. Harmony endures. You feel yourself suspended in this immense calm, witnessing the slow fade of stars, the scattering of galaxies, the stretching of light. The universe drifts toward its quiet edge, its processes gentle, unbroken, eternal. Even as structures fade, even as energy disperses, the cosmos moves with grace and purpose, folding its past into the present, moving forward in the most patient, subtle, magnificent rhythm imaginable. And as you float in this cosmic twilight, a final thought forms softly. If the universe drifts to a quiet edge, then perhaps every fleeting moment of motion, of light, of life, is part of an endless, unfolding calm. An eternal meditation written in the slow, deliberate passage of time itself.